Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Saturday, March 3rd, 2018, vlog number 61. I was a little bit of a rush leaving work this morning, or trying to leave the office. I had a couple things on my mind that I had to get done, and of course, right before we leave, I have, Mr. Coworker guy distracting the living fuck out of me. He won't shut up. Like, I get it, you want to have a conversation, but I'm trying to do something. Don't you see? I even was hold on, let me, I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and I put my headphones on. Doesn't that usually mean that's universal sign of I'm going to be listening to something, or I don't want to continue this conversation or something? Because I was I put on some music, because I wanted to, go through a couple of songs that I want to, save on my drive so I can put in my car. But he just kept talking. I was listening to music, and I see him standing over me, his mouth was moving. I'm like, you're still talking, aren't you? Oh my god. So that was annoying. I had to print my tax return. I don't have a good printer at home. I do, but I don't like to use it for tax returns because it's way too much paper to waste. It's not worth it. Too much ink, I should say. And then my head was I was going through all kinds of stuff in my mind. And normally on Saturday mornings, before I leave work, in the last half hour of work, if I'm being kind of casual, I usually find a video or something on YouTube or just through Google that is interesting, scientifically, and I always post it on my Facebook as a Science Saturday. Sometimes I'll forget to do it before I leave work, and I'll remember to find something when I get home. I like posting these just to kind of change things up on my Facebook, to put something different, maybe help educate some people with some interesting things that they don't think about, or just something different. And usually throughout the week, through all the things I've watched or read on the internet, I'm able to find at least one or two cool things science related that I usually post. But this week I didn't really find much. Maybe that's why I didn't really think about it this morning. There was one thing that I found that was pretty cool. It was about there's a channel I follow. It's called Smarter Every Day, and this guy, he does all kinds of things with just all kinds of general science things, but his main background is engineering. So a lot of the stuff he covers is very engineering focused. And he was visiting this one facility that they're making a haptic glove, for a force feedback to work in with virtual reality. And so they put on this glove, right? And it's a huge glove, and it has all kinds of actuators and stuff in it, and apparently inside the glove there's all kinds of little tiny air bladders that are all controlled by this machine that is hooked up to. So while he's in VR, it shows the video side by side of what he's looking at, and it's just a simple polygonal farm, and little fluffy clouds, little raindrops coming down, and he puts his hand underneath the rain, and he's I could totally feel the rain, and then he'd go to pick something up, pick up a rock, and normally if you're in a VR situation, your fingers close in on things, and it'll go right through it. But in this way, they program it where if your hand covers over a rock, it has cables on the back that prevent your fingers from closing all the way, to kind of conform to whatever object you're holding. Well, that's pretty neat. So it's kind of like a haptic VR experience, and of course it's a very crude looking glove. It's not nowhere near anything close to something that you'd get for a consumer use. It's very early prototype type of stage, but things like that is interesting. That I kind of like seeing different ways you can interact with a virtual environment. I mentioned before, I think AR is more interesting than VR, but either way, some kind of haptic feedback or like controls with your hands and like your body that you can feel what you're looking at. If something's like virtual, if something can make you feel what's in the virtual world, that just makes things so much more interesting. Aside from the obvious kind of not so clean ways of using it, porn. But like, imagine a VR or an AR, like a doctor, and he's not even near the patient, but he has like VR headset and those haptic gloves where whatever he is like connected to, like a robot is doing like a surgery or something, and maybe it's across the whole damn world, who knows. He's feeling like resistance from whatever he's cutting, like just how he would if he really is cutting into things. He's really feeling whatever the robot on the other side that he's controlling does. And I know that something like that kind of exists. They already have like operating room robots that a doctor can control remotely, and the robots themselves do have some kind of like basically like the doctor's holding something that's like a tool. That's exactly what the robot's kind of holding, but he just pushes it, and like the tool itself pushes back. But imagine if it was more like where the glove or something that he's holding does more of the pushing back, where it feels a little more natural rather than like you're fighting against a tool. I think things like that are just interesting. Maybe I'll post a link to that Smarter Every Day in my my vlog today. So that was it. I was out of my mind today. I don't know if I'm going to. There's like a little like cutesy Hello Kitty truck in town. I guess they like go around the country, drive around, and they have little events. I guess a lot of people are going to be there, dressed up all cute. I was thinking to just bring my camera down there just to kind of check it out. But depending on what time I wake up today, I'm probably not going to try to sleep in too much. I slept in a lot yesterday. I wanted to wake up a little bit earlier, but I slept like an extra 2 hours. I hate when that happens because it kind of cuts into my day. Whatever day I have before I have to go to work, like this couple of hours, I have to eat, get ready, and leave for work. I try to get up within a reasonable time. But yesterday I slept a little extra. Today I think I'm going to try to just go home and go right to bed and probably wake up within a reasonable hour, so at least I have some daylight left. So if I get up, eat some breakfast, and then rush, get dressed and get out, I can at least beat the sunset. So I don't go out in the dark and go to this truck thing. I know this thing's gonna be there till 8 at night, but if there's no light, that's gonna be kind of shitty to try to take some pictures in. So yeah, that's all on the docket for today. It's my weekend. Yay! No more work for this weekend. That's the other crappy thing I was trying to edit like this picture last night, but there was so many distractions for whatever reason. Like I couldn't get much done. I'm gonna try to get that done today. This is a pretty extensive edit that I'm doing, and I have plans for what I want to do with it, but it's not quite coming together the way I imagined. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It's taking longer than I expected. Anyways, this is going on for longer than I wanted. So I will talk to you all later. Everybody have a good day, and I love you.